Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing video. Today we are having a look at something rather cool, the Black Templars Army Set for Warhammer 40,000. So first of all, massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us a free copy of this a little bit early to do a bit of an unboxing and review with you guys. We are currently writing up a full review over on the website, so that will be up today, Saturday, the pre-order date, so check that out for all the kind of deep dive into the Codex Supplement and all the new tricks for the army. In this video we'll be having a look through the box at the new miniatures, and we'll be having a kind of a first impressions flick through the Codex and see what looks cool. So if you've been living in a cave for the last couple of months, this is the new kind of launch box, I guess, for the Black Templars ahead of their full release. And inside we get not only the brand new Codex Supplement with a rather snazzy looking limited edition cover based on the classic John Blanche 3rd edition 40k artwork, you also get your kind of pack of data cards and stratagems and all that stuff, and a load of new models. Mostly new models. We do get a Redemptor in there, that's the standard Redemptor that you can currently get. The other 12 models in the box are all new though. We get a new Marshal, new plastic Empress Champion, and a new Primaris Crusader squad, which is made up of neophytes and initiates. So if you played Black Templars back in the day, you'll know that they used to have kind of mixed squads with scouts and marines in there. This seems to be a similar concept but for Primaris marines, and you get a full squad of those in here as well. So it's light model count wise compared to some of the other boxes that we've seen, like the Beastnagger Orcs, but I imagine value wise, miniatures wise, this has got a similar amount of stuff monetary wise compared to that Beastnagger box. I think the Redemptor alone is about £40. We're probably realistically talking £35, £37 for the squad, and then £25, £27.50 each maybe for both the characters. So considering this box retails at £125 and you get the Codex and the data cards in there, yeah, it looks pretty good. Essentially, work out roughly about £120 worth of models, so you're getting the Codex and the cards for a £5 on top, and you're getting it early ahead of the main release. Yeah, seems pretty cool. So what we'll do is crack this open and have a look inside to see what we get. So first of all, this slips away and we get, this is very nostalgic, that classic John Blanche artwork I was talking about. Really, really nice bit of art that's going to bring back some memories for a lot of players. Interestingly, this chap here is also getting a model kind of calling back to this artwork. So let's slide this open and have a look at the models inside. And here we have the box, chock full of sprues and bits and bobs. So let's have a quick look what we've got in here first. So first of all, we've got the data cards in a nice little kind of limited pack. These always kind of match the theme of the limited artwork, and yeah, it's nice to have these and not have to buy them separately as well as the books. That'll have all your stratagem cards and you know, different abilities and stuff in there, so that's really cool to have. We then get the new models, so we'll put the bases out the way and have a look what we get. So first of all, let's pull out some of the older stuff. So we have got Redemptor Dreadnought. So like I say, this isn't a new sculpt or new model or anything. It is the existing Redemptor. It does seem a shame that there's not like a, I don't know, vehicle specific upgrade available for this. I think that on the upgrade frame that you can get separately, I think it's up for pre-order today alongside all this, there is a nice upgrade set with a lot of Black Templar bits. So what you could always do is hold fire and assembling this until you've got your hands on that upgrade sprue and be able to give this some Black Templar flourishes. But that's not everything in the box. Obviously the rest of the set is all entirely new stuff. So it looks like first of all here we have the Emperor's Champion. So iconic Black Templars unit. Obviously in the past it's always been available in metal or resin. This is the first plastic version of this that we've got, and it does look absolutely stunning. Loads of great detail on there, like that sword and all the chains and robes and that you'd expect on Black Templars. So yeah, really, really cool model. I can't wait to see this done. Jay from the team is going to be building and painting these, so hopefully by the time this post goes up over on the website we might have some assembled examples to show you. And then obviously, as we move up to release of this, we should have some painted ones up on Twitter, and we'll update the original post on the website with those. So this is the new Marshal, which is a new character for the Black Templars. And again, really, really cool model. Really, really nice. I'm looking forward to seeing what people do with these. Because, you know, black's a tricky colour to paint. I know Games Workshop have put out a couple of videos, a kind of entry-level one for getting them done quickly. And I know Louise Sugden on Warhammer Plus has done a nice guide on painting black miniatures, so that might be something you want to have a look at if you are interested in doing these. Yeah, I can see a lot of heavy metal kind of style paint jobs being done for Golden Demon and the like, and Armies on Parade isn't far either, but you might struggle to get this painted for then. But yeah, it looks really nice. So the final set that we get in the box is the new Crusader squad. Now this looks to be 2 identical sprues, each building 5 models. So let's have a look at this in more detail to see what is on here. So obviously we've got a mix of different builds on here with the initiates and the kind of, I guess, the scout looking guys and the more traditional Black Templar looking guys. Again, we get a lot of parts on here. Looking at the frame, just eyeballing it now, it does look like a lot of the kind of poses are going to be similar. I imagine there'll be a few alternate parts to change kind of the build of those couple of models. I know recent kits, they've kind of gone more for cinematic looking models with awesome poses rather than giving you maybe the customization options that you used to have in the past. Personally, I've got no issue with that because you end up with more kind of dramatic looking models that look really nice. I know some people like the option to, you know, have different looking units if you've got multiples of them. I think this one, just looking at the frames, you might have to do some cutting if you do want some more kind of variety to these squads. But yeah, they do look absolutely gorgeous. All of the new Black Templar stuff has looked really nice, so I'm excited to see what the rest of the range is. We've got a couple of kits coming out following this that look really tasty as well. So yeah, so you get 2 frames then, building 10 guys. And then in the box, that leaves us with the paper-based stuff. So as we've done in all these boxes, you get a nice little divider separating the plastic stuff from the kind of paper materials just to protect them. And these look really nice. We've said in the past, whack it in a frame, stick it on your wall. They look pretty good. Inside there, we have got the absolutely gorgeous battle tome as well. And then we've got instructions and transfer, it seems, as well. Yeah, there we go. So we've got a new Black Templar transfer sheet, which looks pretty cool. I believe this is boxed with the upgrade frame that I mentioned earlier as well. So if you have got some classic kind of Space Marine units that you want to have as Black Templars, you'll be able to use this to do that. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the assembly instructions. So as we have with all these battle boxes, you kind of get a combined booklet with all the instructions in. Yeah, the Marshal looks a little bit fiddly, quite a few little pieces there. Obviously a lot of these are going to be quite intricate models, so you probably want to take your time building these ones up. They do look really, really cool. The Crusader squad in particular looks to have a lot of different options. Like I mentioned when we were looking at the sprues, it looks like, because obviously it's 2 duplicated frames, a lot of the individual models have different builds to change the silhouette of that model, so that if you've got a big squad, obviously you're able to change the looks, so they're not all looking alike. If you've got a squad bigger than that, it probably is going to be the case that you are going to have some models that look similar, so you might have to do some cutting if you do want to customise them further. But yeah, they look really cool. And then we've got the Neophytes, which are the kind of scout looking guys. To be fair, these look to have a lot more modularity with some more kind of old school style connection points for the different weapons. So to be fair, even though like these all use the same kind of core body there, you've got lots of options with the different weaponry, so that looks pretty cool. And then the Redemptor, nothing different, we've seen this before. The standard Redemptor kit, there's no Black Templar specific parts to put on there. It is worth me saying that this is the full multi-part Contemptor as well. It's not the push fit one that came out around about the turn of the previous edition of the game. And then yeah, some examples of the painted models there. So really, really nice set. I'm looking forward to seeing the models built up. But now we come to the main attraction. It is the Codex Supplement. And again, gotta say, this limited cover looks absolutely fantastic. No text or anything on there, it's just on the spine, and it is that classic 3rd edition artwork that just screams Black Templar, so really, really happy to use this one. So let's crack it open and have a look. Now, Jay's going to be doing a full kind of in-depth write-up of this over on the website. That'll be up now if you go to spruesandbrews.com. This is going to be more of a first impression. This is my first time looking through the book. We'll be having a look at the different units and the profiles and seeing what we get. As always, production values are really cool. The codexes and battle tomes that Games Workshop are putting out are absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be the artwork for the standard edition of the book. Really cool, but I like the limited one in this box. It looks so nice. This is cool, nice bit of script there and very Black Templars vibe. Really, really pretty book. So obviously, if you've picked up any codex, you know the drill here. Essentially the front part of the book will give us all the lore, information about the various characters. Like I said, it's my first flick through this, so I haven't dug into if there's any new lore or anything in here yet. Jay will cover that in the full review, but looks like we get full details of all the characters and units that are covered in the book. Because it's been a while since we've had a Black Templars book. They were around back in the day, and the last couple of Space Marine supplements have kind of folded them in or removed them entirely, depending on the edition. So yeah, here in Domitus we do get some new stuff here about how the Black Templars operate in this current era. Oh, some really cool stuff here. I am partial to Terminators. I think Black Templar is a nice one to include some more of those classic Firstborn units. But yeah, some of this artwork's really ace. I can see there being lots of prints of some of this artwork coming out. This of course we've got the various vows that the Black Templars follow. Suffer not the unclean to live, uphold the honour of the Emperor, abhor the witch, destroy the witch, accept any challenge no matter the odds. That's pretty cool. Yeah, really, really pretty book. So then, as per usual, we get into the kind of miniature showcase in the centre of the book, covering the new units. I do really like these guys. I mean, they're probably going to make up the bulk of your Black Templar army. And obviously we've got the old classic stuff that they can use alongside it. Sword Brothers look cool. Yeah, this is one that was only revealed the other day. Obviously at the time this box comes out, you're not going to be able to get these. Games actually did say that the other kits in the range are only going to be a few weeks away, so hopefully by November the rest of the Black Templar stuff should be out, which is cool. Obviously the Emperor's Champion painted up there in all his glory. Helbrecht looking ace. Gotta say, they've done some really cool stuff with the miniatures for this range. Absolutely outstanding stuff. I mean, Helbrecht in particular, I'm personally not going to do a Black Templars army. I know Jay's going full into this for his 40k army for the last part of this year. But I'm tempted to pick up the Helbrecht model just to paint up, because it's absolutely gorgeous. It's like a mini diorama, isn't it? So yeah, that's really nice. So yeah, so moving on from the kind of miniature stuff, we get onto the rules itself. Again, this is a Codex supplement, so you do need Codex Adeptus Astartes. That forms the core of your army rules, and then these kind of unlock additional abilities on top. So in that, obviously in the main Space Marine Codex, you have got Black Templar detachment abilities. They still have those, but they unlock some additional stuff on top of that for taking a Black Templar army as such. So you get 4 Templar vows. So once you've read the mission brief, and you have to pick which one of these you want to do. So we mentioned them earlier in the book. Suffer not the unclean to live, uphold the honour of the Emperor, abhor the witch, destroy the witch, and accept any challenge no matter the odds. Until the end of the battle, all units from your army with the Templar vows ability gain the effects of the selected vow. The effects of the vow can be found on pages 44 to 45. So it looks like you get a positive effect and a drawback, depending on which of these that you pick. So we'll look at those in a second. Just want to call out, they also show, as they have done in all the recent codexes, a combat patrol. So in here it looks like you get a, what's that, 5, a full initiate squad, an Impulsor and a Marshal is that. So it doesn't look like a bad box. They normally retail at about £80, £85. Obviously if you can get this box, which Games Workshop have said, if you pre-order this weekend you are guaranteed one, you're probably going to get a good saving, because obviously you're getting all the miniatures in this box, and you're getting the Codex as well, and you're getting it before the main wave. So definitely something to consider if you're on the fence about these. But yeah, let's have a look at what these Templar vows are. So like we said, we get 4 of them. So suffer not the unclean to live. Each time a model in a unit makes a melee attack against a non-vehicle unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 automatically wounds the target. That was really cool. However, you have a downside. Each time the unit is selected to the charge, it has to charge the closest non-aircraft unit within 12 inches. So yes, your hits of 6 are automatically wounding, but you can easily be kind of led into positions that you don't want to be with a cunning opponent. Remember, these apply for the entire game as well, so you've got to be careful which one of these you pick. Uphold the honour of the Emperor. Models have a 5+ invulnerable save, and each time an attack is made against a unit, an unmodified wound of a 1 or 2 fails, respective of any abilities that the weapon has. That's cool. So high strength stuff that would be wounding on 2s, for example, would only wound on 3s, so that's pretty cool. The downside of that, the passion, is each time an enemy model makes an attack against the unit does not receive the benefit of cover against the attack. So again, potentially leaving yourself a little bit open for those. Abhor the Witch, destroy the Witch. Once per battle, in your first movement phase, if there are any enemy Psyker units in your opponent's army, until the end of the phase, add 3 to the move characteristic of models in the unit, and each time a model makes an attack against a Psyker, you can re-roll a wound of 1. Okay? And then the passion is when an enemy Psyker unit is within 18 inches, the unit cannot perform any action. So if you're playing for match play and you're trying to do actions to achieve your secondaries, if there's a Psyker within 18 inches, you can't do it. I mean, if you're playing Black Templars, you're killing those Psykers, aren't you? Let's not mess around. And then finally, accept any challenge, no matter the odds, while the unit is within engagement range of any enemy units. If a combat doctrine is active for your army, you'll gain the bonus of the assault doctrine instead of the combat doctrine that is active. Okay? And each time a unit fights, until that fight is resolved, add 1 to the attack characteristic of models in the unit. This is not cumulative with any additional ability for shock attack. Okay, cool. Downside is you can't fall back. So yeah, if you're going for an aggressive combat army, that's pretty good. You always count as being in the assault doctrine and you get extra attack. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I quite like those. Obviously I'm sure there'll be some math hammer on which of these is the most effective one to pick. But yeah, some really nice abilities there. So then we get an assortment of stratagems, and again, being a Codex supplement, you get quite a lot. We get a bit of an assortment. So Devout Push basically lets you make a unit that's not in engagement range make a 3-inch move at the start of the fight phase. So you could use that to get on an objective or something. If they are in combat, they can pile in. So again, you can use that to tee up a unit to get in a better position for combat later on. Vicious Riposte. Until the end of the phase, each time a unit is destroyed and does not explode, on a 5+, it basically gets to do a mortal wound after it dies. So that's pretty cool. Crusader's Wrath, using the command phase. If the assault doctrine is active for your army, until the start of your next command phase, each time a Black Templars model from your army makes an attack with a pistol or melee weapon, an unmodified wound roll of 6 improves the armor penetration by 1. That's pretty cool. You can only use this stratagem once. Again, nice one to combo with, say, that earlier ability where you get a load more attacks. So yeah, pretty tasty. For the Emperor's Honour, use it in the fight phase, select a character, and basically enemy units have to fight that character. So they offer themselves up in a challenge and you've got to target them. So yeah, pretty fluffy one, that. Bombastic Delivery. That allows a chaplain to automatically recite a litany without having to do a roll. Revered Repositories. This lets you give relics to sergeants or sword brothers in your units. So that's a nice way of putting some relics on those squad leaders. Because again, you might gear for quite an elite army, so yeah, might be a nice surprise to add to a unit. It does list some specific ones that they can have, so it's not free reign to do whatever. But yeah, I quite like that. Eris's Sigismund is a similar one that we've seen that allows a character to become a warlord in addition to your Warlord, gaining another trait and all that like. Champion of the Feast is cool. Allows a Sergeant or Sword Brother to add 1 to their attacks and 1 to their wounds characteristic, and improve the weapon skill by 1. So again, really nice one, potentially combined with this to make your squad leaders mini characters. Abhor the Witch is a 4+, just stop a psychic power. Tenacious Assault, 4+ to stop an enemy unit from falling back. Strength of Conviction gives one of your core units objective secured if they don't have it already. Emperor's Will, using the shooting phase, basically lets you shoot with a unit that's advanced, and if they've got assault weapons they don't suffer the penalty to that. Pretty nice. Shock and Awe lets your guys get out of Land Raider Crusaders even if it's moved. Exemplars of the Crusade, select a Sword Brethren unit from your army until the end of the phase. Each time a model on the unit makes a melee attack, unmodified 6s score an additional hit. Again, all gearing around getting loads of attacks in close combat. Heretic's Pyre, using your shooting phase, select a core unit. Each time a flame weapon targets a unit between 6 and 10 models, it does a minimum of 3 attacks. And if it targets a unit with 11 models or more, do not roll, it does the maximum number of attacks. And the cost of that goes up depending on what kind of unit you're using it on. And then finally, Incendiary Shells. Using the shooting phase, when a Black Templars unit from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack with an Astarte shotgun, the attack has a damage characteristic of 2. So nice one to use with your neophytes with their shotguns as well. So yeah, nice assortment of stratagems there. Moving on to the litanies, these are your chaplain abilities. So Litany of Divine Protection. If the litany is aspiring, select a friendly Black Templars core or character within 6 inches. Each time they'd lose a wound on a 5+, it's not lost. So a nice little ward save, wound shrug, whatever you want to call it. Psalm of Remorseless Persecution, awesome name for a litany. You select a friendly Black Templars core unit within 6 inches. Each time it makes a melee attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 includes a mortal wound in addition to any other damage. A unit can suffer a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. So there's a lot of stuff here that you can kind of stack up with other abilities that grant you extra attacks, or things that happen on the hits of 6 and then extra things that happen on a wound of 6, giving you quite a nice chance of a bit of a splash of damage in combat, which is cool. Well, the Plea of Deliverance. If the litany is inspiring, select a friendly Black Templars core or character within 6 inches. If the unit or models are being affected by a psychic power, the effect of those psychic powers end. Cool. And at the start of your command phase, that unit and the models it contains are not affected by psychic powers manifested by enemy units. So a nice bit of psychic defense with that one. We've got Fires of Devotion. Select a friendly core or character within 6 inches. Each time they fight, if it made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, you add 1 to the attack's characteristic. Fervent Acclamation. Select one Templar vow that is not an effect and select a Black Templar core or character. The unit gains the effects of that vow. So obviously you pick your vow at the start of the game. That's a way to change one of your units to have a different vow. So that's pretty cool. And then Oath of Glory. At the start of the fight phase, if the priest model is within engagement range of any enemy units, it can fight. Each time the priest model makes an attack with a Crozius or a Relic that replaces one of these weapons, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 2 additional hits. That's pretty ace. And you add 1 to the strength characteristic of the priest. So that's a really nice one to have to make him a bit of a combat beast, to be fair. We then get 6 Warlord traits specific for the Black Templars. So Epitome of Piety. In your opponent's psychic phase, this Warlord can deny a psychic power, and you add 1 to deny the witch tests. Paragon of Fury, you add 1 to their strength, and after they make a charge, move roll a d6. On a 5+, he causes a mortal wound. Master of Arms, at the start of the fight phase, if the Warlord is within engagement range, it can fight, and you add 1 to its attacks characteristic. Inspirational Fighter, when a friendly Black Templar core unit is within 6 inches, each time it make a melee attack, an unmodified wound of 6 improves the AP by 1. That's pretty cool, and that's cumulative with the Assault Doctrine. Frontline Commander, add 1 to the advance and charge rolls for the Warlord, and each time a Black Templars core unit declares a charge, you add 1 to the roll. And then Oathkeeper, the Warlord is eligible to perform a heroic intervention if it's within 6 inches rather than 3. Each time the Warlord makes a heroic intervention, it can move 6. So yeah, basically it allows them to pile in twice as long, so that's pretty cool. Your named characters do get some specific ones that they have to take. So Helbrick takes Frontline Commander, which is the improved charges, and Grimaldus gets Epitome of Piety. That is your one that allows them to deny the witch and add 1 to it. So we then get a range of relics, and what's really cool with the relics in here is that on the upgrade sprue they've actually put some plastic parts on that frame that allow you to represent relics. I really hope that's something that they do going forward, because I think that's quite a cool thing to be able to show the relics that you've got and have a specific model for them. But yeah, there's some cool stuff on here. The Crusader's Helm adds 3 inches to auras, core units within 9 inches. When they make an attack, the Assault Doctrine is considered to be active. Again, all kind of doubling down on your combat prowess. Witch Seeker bolts can be given, allows you to get around lookouts there when shooting a Psyker, and successful hits do D3 mortal wounds in addition to any other damage, so a really nice one for taking out those Psykers. The Aurelian Shroud, once per battle at the start of either player's command phase, the bearer can unveil it. If they do, friendly Black Templars within 3 inches have a 4+ invulnerable save. That's really cool. Only lasts until the next command phase, but a nice one to put a bit of a emergency invulnerable save on your army. Ancient Breviary, Chaplain model only. Each time roll is made to determine if a litany is recited, roll an additional d6 and discard the lowest result. That's really cool. The Skull of Cacodominus. When a Psyker is within 12 inches, subtract 1 from their tests, while an enemy Psyker is within 12 inches. Each time a psychic test is made, it suffers peril of the warps on any double. And at the start of the battle, at the start of your opponent's psychic phase, the bearer can raise the skull if it does until the end of the phase. Enemy Psykers within 8 inches, subtract 1 from psychic test. So basically, that is your stop all the psychic shenanigans, and you can make it better once per game in the opponent's command phase. The Sword of Judgment replaces a power sword, mastercrafted power sword, or a relic blade. +3 strength, AP -3 damage, really nice. The Adamantine Mantle gives you a 5+ wound shrug. Artifice for Armour gives you a 2+ save and a 5+ invulnerable save. Mastercrafted Weapon adds 1 to the damage characteristic. Digital Weapons allows you to make an additional close combat attack. And if it scores a hit, they suffer a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. The Aquila Immortus add 1 to their toughness and attacks characteristic. Perdition's Edge replaces a power axe. +3 strength, AP -2, 2 damage. And a modified wound of 6 does 2 mortal wounds and the attack sequence ends. That's really nice. The Breath of the Throne, 12-inch assault, D3 +3. Also hitting Super Flamer, strength 5, AP -1, 2 damage. And then Tannhauser's Bones. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, the damage is changed to 1. That's really cool. So if you get hit with a damage 6 weapon, you just take 1 damage. That's really cool. So yeah, nice assortment of relics there, and obviously there's a way to give your kind of squad leaders relics as well. So some really nice stuff there that you could give them. Speaking of your squads, there's a new thing in here, relics. So if you've got a chaplain in your army, each of your infantry or bike units, excluding characters, can be made relic bearers. So you pay points, you give them a relic, and that unit gains that ability. In a crusade, you can't start with them, you gain them over the course of the crusade. But this looks really, really cool. Again, making your kind of infantry units really strong. So we've got the Light of the Emperor's Grace, add 1 to leadership of the unit, and then Psykers within 12 inches, subtract 1 from psychic tests. Sigismund's Seal, at the start of the first battle round, select an enemy unit on the battlefield. Until the end of the battle, each time a melee attack is made by the model's unit against that, you can re-roll the hit and you can re-roll the wound. That's really good. The Holy Orb, the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch maybe. Once per battle, in your shooting phase, you can select one enemy unit that is within 6 inches. Roll a d6. On a 2+, they suffer d3 mortal wounds. Until the end of the turn, that unit is not eligible to fight until all eligible units from your army have done so. That's pretty cool. The Crux or Obsidian. Each time an attack is allocated to the model, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. Again, really cool. Remember, these are all going on your basic infantry units. The Fist of Balthus. A model with Power Fist only. The Fist of Balthus replaces a Power Fist and has the following profile. Strength 2, AP -3, 3 damage, so whack that on one of your sergeants or something. Amazing Power Fist. The Beast Pyre is a super flamer basically. 15 inches, Assault D6, Strength 6, AP -2, 1 damage. Automatically hits, has Blast. And the Icon of Heinemann. Each time an attack with an armor penetration characteristic of 1 or 2 is allocated, the attack has an armor penetration characteristic of 0 instead. So that's really cool. Put that on one of your basic squads that's going to be holding objectives, and you need at least AP -3 to reduce their armor. What's that cost? That costs 15 points. That's a really cool upgrade. And then the Bones of Mordred. Each time this model makes a melee attack, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. That's really cool. So yeah, there's some fun stuff you can give with these. I mean, you could just go all out and give all your units these awesome upgrades. So then we get the chapter approved rules. These are the Black Templar specific secondaries that you can choose to take. So purge the enemy, end game objective. At the start of the first command phase, you select one Black Templar's character, and your opponent must select one character to accept the challenge. So you score 5 points if you the model that accepted the challenge was destroyed. The model that accepted the challenge was destroyed is a melee attack. The model that accepted the challenge was destroyed as a result of a melee attack from the model that issued it. So basically you pick one of your models to issue a challenge, they pick one of theirs, and you get an increasing 5 points if it died in melee, and it died to the hand of your character. So that's a pretty fun one. Battlefield Supremacy. Allow not the worship of unclean idols. Score 4 victory points at the end of the battle round if you control one or more objective markers that were controlled by your opponent and a Black Templar Chaplain is within range. That's a pretty achievable one. Carry out your vows, which is under no mercy, no respite. You can select the secondary objective if you've selected any Templar vows. The objective consists of a progressive component and an end game component. You can only score victory points for the end game component for the Templar vow that's selected at the start of the battle. Okay. So score 4 victory points at the end of the round if the number of enemy units destroyed made by Black Templars is greater than the number of friendly Black Templars destroyed. You can score a maximum of 12 victory points. And at the end of the game, you score points based on if you've achieved any of your vows. So that's pretty cool. Obviously it gives you 2 things that you can score points with. Other ones are easier to do, but that's quite fun. And that fits for your Black Templars achieving their vow. I quite like that. We then get some Crusade rules. Now, regular viewers will know that we absolutely love Crusade, and it's one of our favourite parts of the new edition of the game. And Black Templars do get their own Crusade content as well, which is nice. So we've got some agendas that they can have. So fulfill your vows. It looks similar to the one that we saw on the other page. So you're going to try and achieve your vow that you've picked at the start of the battle. We've got first-hand experience. Keep a first-hand experience tally. Basically, you're trying to get your scouts, your neophytes, your Primaris neophytes, get them experience by taking objective markers, by destroying units. So basically, you're training up your new recruits. That's quite a fun one. And then reconsecration. Set the agenda at the end of the deploy forces step. Your opponent must set up one objective marker anywhere on the battlefield. It looks like your character has to try and take it. That's pretty fun. And I've just noticed here, is this a new model that we haven't seen yet, or maybe a conversion? Because that guy is based on this classic artwork here. So I wonder if we are getting a model for this. We've not seen it in any of the previews, but is this a new guy that we're going to get? I quite like that. So then we get the usual kind of requisitions and battle traits that you can have to upgrade your units. What is really cool is that you can basically upgrade your guys to sword brethren, or assault your guys to assault intercessors. That's pretty fun. You can give your guys relics, and you can also use them to gather more parts of their holy intervention. So this is something that we'll see on the next page. But basically, the main Crusade gimmick for the Black Templars is that they've got certain vows they're trying to accomplish. So if we flip over to the next page, basically you pick a deed, a foe, a condition, and a situation. And they've got different things that you're trying to unlock while doing your crusade. So for example, if you look at the first one, the deed is bring glory to his name. You have to win at least 4 battles while you've got any Black Templar units. And if you do it, you get a piece of a relic. Now you can gather multiple pieces of the relics to assemble them into a relic that you can give to one of your characters. So basically you pick one of each thing, so a deed, what you're fighting, a condition. So for example, play 4 games where no models have fled, it'd be this condition, and what the situation is. So whilst holding the line against an encroaching foe, play at least 4 battles where you're the defender. So for this example, we could have bring glory to his name and slay the enemy's leaders without taking a backward step, regardless of what assails us, and that will give you a cool 4-part kind of vow that you guys are trying to accomplish, and if you do that, you'll unlock some things. Those parts of relics then can be assembled into full relics that you can then give to your guys. I really like that, it's cool. So you can kind of, because you know what parts of relics you're trying to get as well, you can map that out over your army and try and get those relics by getting the correct parts. So that looks really fun. I can see Jay, when he does his Black Templars army, doing a bit of a crusade log where he's recording their deeds and did they manage to recover these relics, and if not, then they go back harder next time. So yeah, it looks like a really fun one and very different to what we've seen for other crusade content in the game. In addition to the relics that you can unlock by getting the parts of as well, they also have some kind of just standard relics that you can give to your guys as well. Obviously with the normal crusade rules of you can only unlock them once your character hits a certain rank on the crusade scale. And then like we've seen in some of the other books, we also get a cool name generator as well to give your heroes names, which is always fun. And at the end of the crusade section we get a nice 2-page spread showing one of the studio's own crusade armies, and it looks like the awesome standard bearer is actually a conversion from their personal army, so that's a shame. But yeah, it looks really nice, and I like these to see an idea of what you could do with your crusade force. So then going on to the data sheets now, a majority of the options in the Space Marine book can be taken. There's a few modifications though. So your captains become marshal and have some specific stuff that they can have instead. And your lieutenant becomes a castellan, which is the guy off the front cover. And again, they've got some specific bits they can have. Interestingly though, you could just build those as the generic ones as long as you stick to the correct weapon loadouts for them. You can also give some of your vehicles some unique multi-melter upgrades rather than heavy stubbers. So yeah, some pretty fun, and not really many restrictions for what you can't take. So pretty much take whatever you like from the main Space Marine Codex. So moving on to the profiles, we've got High Marshal Helbrecht, the big dog himself. Yeah, really cool. So 2s, 4/4, weapons, wounds 8, attack 6, 2+ save. He has got a ranged gun, kind of a combi melter. Yeah, crazy good. So yeah, proper melter at 12 inches. He's got some thralls with him that throw some attacks in as well. Where he really shines though is his Sword of the High Marshals. So he can choose to either make 12 attacks at strength 6, AP -3, 1 damage, or he can make 6 attacks at strength 8, AP -3, 3 damage. So yeah, really cool combat profile. He's got the Crusade of Wrath aura. He adds 1 to the strength of all Black Templar core units within 6 inches. Rights of Battle aura, reroll hits of 1 for core units within 6 inches. And then he can pick a specific core or character to reroll all hits. And he gets a full bottom vulnerable save. So yeah, really, really cool. Really strong. Obviously got the utility to go for lots of low damage, or you still get 6 high damage attacks, so yeah, pretty tasty. We've then got Chaplain Grimaldus. He's got a plasma pistol, a Crozius, +2 strength, -2 AP, 2 damage. He also has some special war gear that his kind of followers are carrying with him. So you've got the Banner of the Fallen Crusaders, allows you to advance D3 +3 rather than D6 within 6 inches. That's pretty cool. The Remnant of the Fallen Temple gives core or characters within 6 inches a 6+ wound shrug. And then the Scepter of Anointing Each time a roll is made to determine if a litany is recited, you add 1. So basically, I think most of the litanies go off on a 3, so they go off on 2s for him. He has got his Cenobite Servitors. Basically, you ignore them for the purposes of morale. They're in the unit, but he doesn't care if they die. Indomitable Resolve, when he dies on a 4+, basically he can come back. He can deny a spell as if he's a Psyker. Yeah, he's pretty cool. And he gets Litany of Hate plus 2 litanies picked from this book as well. They go off on a 3+, obviously 2+ with this thing. So yeah, you can have a super chaplain. I imagine most people will be taking him for the utility of those litanies and those supporting buffs that he's got. I think he'll be a pretty good take to put in your main lines. We've got the Emperor's Champion. Again, an absolute beast. He has got the black sword. Again, two choices. You can either do +3 strength, AP -3, 2 damage, or at the cost of -1 to hit, he can be strength 8, AP -4, 3 damage. Again, giving him some options. He's got a 4+ invulnerable save. When you're attacking him, it's -1 to hit, so that's pretty cool. Sigismund's Heir. Each time he makes an attack against a character, you can reroll the hit and you can reroll the wound, making that thrusting strike really kind of reliable, really. Hitting on 3s with a reroll, and then strength 8. Yeah, really good. You can't give him any relics. At the start of the fight phase, if he's engagement range, it can fight first that phase. That's pretty cool. And then Honour or Death. If the model is able to perform a heroic intervention if it's within 6 inches, yeah. So basically, it can do heroic interventions at longer range. So yeah, really, really cool. Obviously, get one in this box as well, which is ace. We then get the Primaris Crusader Squad. So this is the new unit that, again, is included in this box. It consists of 5 to 11 initiates, 4 to 8 neophytes, plus a sword brother. So yeah, you can have, what, a 20-man squad there, and everything in between. That's pretty cool. We've got Astartes shotguns. They're only damage 1, but we've seen there's a stratagem to make them damage 2, which is cool. What new stuff? We've got the Pyre pistol, 12-inch range, pistol D6 that auto hits, so a flamer pistol. Pyre blaster, 15 inches, assault D6, strength 4, AP -1. Yeah, they look pretty cool. So they are your kind of like core troops kind of unit as well. So I imagine most of your Black Templar armies are going to be made up of squads of these guys. Interestingly, the neophytes have got 2 wounds as well, so 4+ save instead of a 3+, so they are pretty much a scout analogue, but obviously they've got those 2 wounds, so that's pretty cool. You can also take a classic Crusader squad as well. I don't think much has changed there. Neophytes have got 1 wound. Yeah, so again, you can still do the pure firstborn units if you want to. I mean, to be honest, the new Primaris Crusader squad looks really cool as well, so yeah, you've got options there. Another unit that's added is the Primaris Sword Brethren. These guys look pretty cool. Standard kind of stat line with 3 attacks each and a 3+ save, and then a whole host of different weapons. Like we've seen in some of the newer books, basically each guy can take a different weapon, and then if you've got a squad of 10, you can then double up on weapons. So you couldn't, for example, give them 10 Thunderhammers. You can take 1 of each over there, which is it's a nice way of doing it. They're going to be the options that are on the kit. Arguably, you get a bit more versatility because you've got lots of different ones in there. Downside is you can't just double down and go pure 1 weapon. But yeah, they look pretty fun. Vowsworn Bladesmen. When any Templar vows are in effect, they're not affected by the vow's passion. So that is really cool. So we saw earlier that all of those vows have got downsides to them. These guys ignore the downside. So for example, the one that made you charge against the closest enemy unit, these guys ignore that, making them a lot more reliable in those situations. So that's pretty fun. And that is all of the units in there. Obviously, they get access to the entire Space Marine Codex as well, so you can fill up with whatever stuff that you've got. Looks like there's no special rules for the Land Raider Crusader, so it doesn't look like you can put your Primaris Crusader squads in there. There's no rules on there to say that they can, so unfortunately it's just going to be your classic Crusader squads that are rolling around in those, which is a bit of a shame if I'm honest. So yeah, let's have a look at the points and stuff. So Grimaldus weighs in at 140, the Emperor's Champion 100, Hellbrat is 160, Sword Brethren are 22 points each, then obviously you've got your weapon options. Your Crusader squad are 13 points for the Neophytes and 18 points for the other models, and again a whole host of stuff that they can take. And then your Primaris Crusader squads, 16 points for the Neophytes, 19 points for all the models, and again their weapon options. So yeah, pretty cool. I like the look of this book. It's pretty fun. I think we'll see some nice thematic Black Templar armies. And I've got to say, I know a lot of people were kind of not too impressed with the contents of the box, thinking it was a bit light kind of in terms of kind of the number of models that you get, because there's only 13 of them. But like I say, kind of cash wise, you do probably get about £120 worth of models plus the codex and the cards. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal, and if you are thinking about picking up a Black Templar army, that's probably the best way to do it, to get started. So yeah, again, we're going to have a full write-up going into a bit more depth on the website. That'll be up today as soon as this video is out, so head over to spruesandbrews.com to see that. As soon as Jay's got these painted up as well, we'll probably do a bit of a battle report, maybe Orcs versus Black Templars, so that'll be in the next couple of weeks once the models are painted up. And yeah, we'll get them on the table. So I hope you've enjoyed that. We've got loads more content coming every week. We'll be discussing this in more detail on the podcast as well, which should be out the Tuesday following this video, if my maths is right. So yeah, until then, have a great time and we'll see you soon. Bye!